and I was able to meet, young men all across the country, and I feel like I was able to change some lives by bringing them there, and some of them had incredible experiences, and I felt like maybe I had a little part of that. It really made me feel proud.
What was your mindset on like what you were going to do professionally out of college? Did you have ambition, or were you studying or training for something after college, or just playing sports and getting decent grades?
I had no idea. I mean, I'd love to tell you that I really had a plan or whatever else, but no, I had no idea. I mean, my buddy Mike Chenault, who will come up in my story a lot, he and I had talked about maybe doing something after college, but I just was sort of living it day to day, and all of a sudden, it's sort of, I saw that the end was near.
Right.
In the spring of 1984, I realized I was going to have to do something, and I was at the post office back then. It wasn't just email; you actually got like letters and stuff. So I went and got to the post office, and there was a bulletin board, and there was an advertisement pinned on the bulletin board about working in the admissions office in the college. I'm like, man, that would be really cool, because I love the college. I love talking to people about the college. And so I went and applied for that, and somehow they wound up choosing me for that, and wound up doing that. It was going to be a year or two, and then it wound up being 7 years.
Was that because of your passion for doing it? You enjoyed it, or was it sort of like it just kind of, you were doing well enough and you were just kind of like...
I just loved it. I mean, I got into doing it, and I didn't really understand that it was sales. In education, sales is a bad word. Like, oh, we're not selling anything. But that's what I was doing. I was selling the college, and yet I was also helping people, which I realized along the way that was one of the things that I really, at heart, am sort of an educator and a teacher and a counselor and somebody who's trying to lead people. And I was able to meet young men all across the country, and I feel like I was able to change some lives by bringing them there, and some of them had incredible experiences, and I felt like maybe I had a little part of that. It really made me feel proud. So, yeah, that was I guess to answer your question, I didn't expect it to be as long of a tenure, but I loved it and felt like I was doing a good job with it. And then, then I guess over that course of that time, I got married. We had a couple of children. I'm on this sort of quest for excellence for my college, and my wife's being a good sport and up there, but not really around her atmosphere or whatever else, and wasn't getting the financial resources. Definitely in education, your rewards are not on payday.
Right.
They're in other areas. And so I just felt, one day I just felt like maybe I would look at some other opportunities where I could do more for my family. And I was goose hunting with Mike Chenault out at what now is a neighborhood called Pebble Creek. It was yet to be developed. And we were sitting there, nothing was really happening. We're just sort of sitting there quiet, and he's like, hey man, why don't you come sell real estate with me? And so one of the best decisions I've ever made, I made just like that. Wasn't much snap. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. So I went home, told my wife. She goes, well, you don't know anything about selling real estate. I'm like, well, Mike can do it. I'm sure I can do it.